Okay, so let's dive in. That Fantastic Four First Steps trailer. Wow. It wasn't just one surprise, it felt like. Like two massive curveballs right from the start.
Absolutely. It really makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about their origin, doesn't it? Like, maybe that story was just the prologue.
Exactly. It felt immediately clear this isn't just another retelling, it's something fundamentally different.
For sure. So, for this deep dive, we're really going to get into that trailer, focusing on this whole alternate universe idea and these, frankly, huge changes to the characters we know.
Yeah, forget dipping our toes in. This feels like a whole new ocean. It's not just a fresh coat of paint.
Not at all. The 1960s retro-futuristic look is striking, sure, but it goes deeper. The core identities, their paths. It seems like they're being completely reimagined. That's what we need to unpack.
And we've been looking at all the breakdowns, the ones that freeze frame every little detail, trying to piece together the bigger picture from those clues.
Right. So let's start with the setting itself. This alternate reality, the 1960s vibe hits you immediately. Costumes, tech. It's very deliberate.
Oh yeah, the aesthetic is just perfect. And the idea that Reed Richards is this, like Steve Jobs meets Einstein figure who reshaped New York. That's fascinating.
It really is. Coultured's take on it suggests he's woven advanced tech into daily life, flying cars alongside classic ones. It paints a really specific picture of this world.
What kind of world does that create, though, if tech advanced that fast?
Well, that level of advancement, probably driven by Reed, it likely changed world history, right? Maybe averted some major conflicts like the Cold War as we knew it.
Which could explain NSA showing up.
Yeah.
The American National Space Agency instead of NASA. That little logo speaks volumes.
Exactly, a different geopolitical history. And then there's Sue Storm, not just Invisible Woman, but leader of the Future Foundation, a group that seems to have achieved world peace.
I mean, world peace. Where does the story even go from there? What's the threat?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because the trailer definitely hints that this peace and adoration for the Four, it's fragile, something's about to break.
It feels almost too perfect, that initial celebration, like the calm before the storm.
Totally. Which brings us nicely to one of the biggest storms, the Silver Surfer reveal. Or should I say, Shallowball.
Okay, yeah, that was a shocker. Julia Garner. Not Norrin Rad.
And it's crucial to understand this isn't just a gender swap. Shallowball is her own character from the comics, tied into the surfer mythology.
Right. Can you give us the quick version for folks who might not know the difference?
Sure. So Norrin Rad is the classic surfer, sacrifices himself to save his planet, Zenla, and his love, Shallowball, by becoming Galactus's herald. Finds planets for him to consume.
And Shallowball.
She's usually the one left behind, his great love. But in some stories, like Earth X, both of them actually served as heralds at different times, so there's precedent.
So why go with Shallowball here, in this specific alternate universe? What's the thinking?
Well, a few things, potentially. It definitely adds diversity to Marvel's cosmic lineup, and it lets them explore maybe a different angle on the sacrifice, the burden of being a herald. Maybe her story hits differently.
Plus, being an alternate reality gives them more freedom to play with it.
Exactly. And her look in the trailer, pretty intense. Still recognizably her features, but all silvered over. And that arrival in Times Square.
Yeah, it definitely made an entrance.
Yeah.
Descending on the board, it felt powerful.
And that line, if you want to stop me, you're going to have to fucking kill me. Whoa.
Yeah, that sets a serious tone.
Yeah.
This isn't a reluctant herald. She's on a mission. Earth is marked.
Very different vibe from the sometimes brooding Norrin Rad. She seems much more direct, a clear and present danger.
Okay, so as if that wasn't enough to process, then boom, Sue Storm is pregnant.
Yep, just that simple question, are you pregnant? And the confirmation, it just adds this whole other massive layer to everything.
And for comic fans, your mind immediately goes to Franklin Richards. And Valeria, too, eventually.
Oh, absolutely. And Franklin in the comics is, well, he's a reality warper.
Yeah.
An Omega-level mutant. One of the most powerful beings, period.
So creating pocket universes, telepathy, telekinesis.
Yeah.
The works?
Pretty much. He's hugely important. Tied to the Future Foundation later, battle Celestials. It's cosmic level stuff. And Valeria, while not powered like that initially, has Reed's super intellect.
So first steps. Suddenly sounds like it means more than just the team's early days.
Exactly. It's their first steps as parents, too. And the first steps of potentially one of the most powerful beings in the universe coming into existence.
Which could tie directly into Galactus, couldn't it? The theory that maybe he's not just hungry, he's after Franklin's power.
That's a really compelling idea, something Culture touched on, too. Maybe Galactus sees Franklin as a solution to his hunger, or even a way to restore something he lost. It makes the threat incredibly personal for Reed and Sue.
And remember that mention of an all-is-lost moment. A big plan failing, blinding light, global panic. Could that be about protecting Franklin?
It seems very plausible. Suddenly, it's not just saving the world, it's saving their child from the threat that could destroy the world. Talk about impossible choices.
That moral dilemma, saving Earth versus saving your family. That's classic Fantastic Four, but potentially amplified like crazy here.
It really grounds the cosmic scale, doesn't it? Now, besides those huge plot points, the trailer was just packed with little details, those Easter eggs that build out this 60s world.
Oh man, so many. The Ted Gilbert show to start, perfect Ed Sullivan vibe, Mark Gatiss, the no loud talking sign, the paper prompter. It felt so authentic.
And Gilbert mentioning their familiar astronaut story right away tells us, yeah, we're skipping the origin flight this time around. They're already celebrities.
Then you jump to Yancey Street, Ben's neighborhood, all those little shop names. Horowitz Clothing, M. Gable Books, Scheckerberg's Pawn Shop, Stanley's Service Center. Felt like real nods to Kirby and Lee.
Totally. And the contrast is interesting, too. Yancey Street looks pretty normal, almost untouched by the super advanced tech we see in the stay line.
Yeah, Cultured mentioned that. Maybe Reed's tech revolution hadn't quite reached everyone equally. Adds a layer.
And did you catch the kids trying to build their own fantastic car?
Yeah. And Herbie the robot just casually making drinks in the Baxter building.
Yeah.
It shows how integrated all this is into their lives.
Cereal boxes, too. Lucky Charms, Kicks, with the retro designs, and actual Jack Kirby torch art on the Lucky Charms. That's a deep cut.
With a free Human Torch figure offer. Johnny must have loved that.
Then inside the Baxter building, the color-coded rooms are a neat touch. Yellow for thinking, red for research, blue for monitoring. Very Reed.
And that chalkboard looked like Einstein's field equations, maybe diagrams for trapping Galactus or dimensional travel. You just know Reed's always tinkering with something universe-altering.
Definitely. And Times Square looked totally different. That green section, the elevated trains, the commemorative disc showing they've had past victories.
Plus all the ads, timely comics, citizen watches, and the fun ones like Westview appliances from WandaVision, Attack of the Fungi like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
They really went all out.
They really did. Mm-hmm. And we saw the actual fantastic car in action, kids trying to copy it. Yeah. And then Galactus, the way they talked about maybe using practical effects, miniatures alongside CGI. That sounds amazing.
Like classic kaiju films. Mm-hmm. And those purple boots stomping down Broadway.
Yeah.
Iconic already.
Like promises a very tangible threat. And the action snippets we saw looked great. The train rescue showing off everyone's powers.
Johnny flaming onto the bridge. Ben smashing through concrete.
Reed stretching to save someone. And Sue's force field flickering, maybe because of the pregnancy. Adds vulnerability.
And that shot of the Marvel One ship approaching what looks like a destroyed Earth. Chilling.
Plus Shallowball rising from molten metal, Galactus' shadow over the city. It all builds this sense of, like, epic scale and real danger.
Okay, so let's recap the big takeaways. We've got an alternate 1960s universe. Established heroes.
We have Shellball, a female Silver Surfer played by Julia Garner, serving Galactus.
And Sue's pregnant, likely with Franklin Richards, who might be the real reason Galactus is coming to Earth.
Exactly. This is definitely not the Fantastic Four movie people might have expected. It feels fresh, bold, genuinely surprising.
Even if you know the comics inside out, this setup promises new twists.
For sure. And it leaves us wondering, what does this alt-universe mean for the wider multiverse? How will Franklin's powers emerge? How central is he to stopping Galactus?
And what sacrifices will this version of the team have to make? It feels like the stakes are incredibly high, both cosmically and personally.
Which leads to that final thought for you listening. How could these first steps for the team in this reality and for the Richards family potentially change everything we know about the multiverse? What part of this bold new take excites you the most?